Hello, I'm Ellis. Welcome to my channel. It's the 6th of June and it's 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it's time for another E-trip, an Ellis trip, an adventure before dementia. Just a little micro adventure, nothing outlandish, nothing that major. I find that there's so much out there just on your own doorstep. So many little adventures and little quirky trips that you can take within an hour from your doorstep. Not even that, 5 minutes, as we're about to find out today. I'm staying in my hometown today, but boy do I have some interesting things to show you. Two things in particular that I really would like to show you on the episode today. Just to show that you don't have to go that far at all. This channel is all about the unusual, the bizarre, the quirky, the strange, the weird, the eccentric, the mysterious, the eerie, the supernatural, the spooky. They are fascinating, interesting. If it's a bit different, then it gets my attention and it's on my radar. And I want to share that with you, and I'm going to take you on every single journey that I go on over the next several weeks, several months. As I change tack with this channel now, take you out and about with the camera. I always said once we got into the warmer months, into the summer, which we are now, it's now June, so it's starting to warm up slightly. You know, we'll never get 30 degrees here in the UK. 15 to 20 is perfect. I can get out in that, take my iPhone, take my DJI microphone, take my neck mount, and take my dog, and let's go and have some adventures. Come join me today as we head off out to the historic headland here in Hartlepool on the northeast coast in the UK. Let's have some fun. I've just been listening to Eminem's latest song, well, his new song. And just like Eminem, Eminem's back. And I'm back. His song Houdini, about the great escape artist who's able to disappear and then reappear and also escape from things. Well, that's me as well. I disappear from time to time and then I reappear. I escape from life and then I get back into life. And just like Eminem and just like Houdini, I'm back. So welcome to another day on planet Earth. Today is going to be a great day. Ella will be joining me on today's adventure and possibly future subsequent adventures. So the idea being, look at this. I love this neck mount that allows me to have my hands free. It's a whole new lease of life, guys. All right, Ella, calm down. Yes, you're going to get the ball. At the moment, it's about 12-13 degrees at 8:49 in the morning. So the plan is today, not that I'm going to show you this, I'm going to have a quick dash down to the coffee shop. I've not been in the coffee shop for over a week. Eat ball, Ella, come on. There it is in the grass. Even a feature on these vlogs over the next few weeks are the strange, the mysterious, the weird, the quirky, the unusual, the eerie, anything that's slightly odd and that's a bit left field. I'm going to show you. We're going to go and visit. I'm going to show you my rundown, or a countdown if you like, the top 50 weird, quirky, mysterious places and things to see here in the northeast of England. I don't have to go too far to show you this list. There's plenty around that's going to entertain, that's going to intrigue, and I'm going to take you on every step of the journey. You're going to come with me. See my neck mount? There you go. It looks a bit odd, doesn't it? It looks like a stethoscope. But for the view I get from it, it was worth the money. I've only used it once. Yeah! So I really need to start using it again. 13 degrees Celsius at 9 o'clock. I will take that and party. That's really good. So as I've just said, I'll just reiterate this morning. I'm on my way to the coffee shop, hoping to see a couple of friends before they jet off on their jollies for a holiday. And when I first started this back in November last year, I was going in the gym, I was recording the gym sequences, but I just don't know. You've got to try things, people. You have to try things. Because when I started the channel, I was calling myself Britman, and I've dropped that moniker now. I'm now just me, authentic me. I'm just me, Ellis. That's the name of the channel. What you see is what you get. So it's time to be a bit more honest, and it's time to just have fun. Show the nice things in life, show the quirky things in life, the weird things in life, because that is what I plan on doing. That's the direction I plan on taking this channel now. Whether that's going to be every day, every couple of days, I don't know yet. I don't know. All I know is I'm going to start today. Boldness has power and magic and genius in it. Begin it. Begin it now. I'm showing this view, excuse me, for no other reason than it's pretty cool. It's my Gran Turismo view. Am I right in saying that, Gran Turismo? That is the car racing game, isn't it? GT something or other, I don't know. This is the view. This is my driving view this morning. On my way down to the coffee shop. Yes! Anyway, onwards to the coffee shop and then onwards to day one of what's going to be my list of adventures and quirky and weird, strange, peculiar, eerie things to do here in the United Kingdom, more specifically the northeast of England. So I don't have to venture too far to show you these things. I'm thinking possibly as far south as York, Leeds maybe, as far north as Newcastle, Northumberland, and as far west as the outer fringes of County Durham, Barnard Castle, that type of thing, going in towards Cumbria. But even then, I don't necessarily need to go too far into Cumbria. Cumbria is beautiful, by the way. That's where the Lake District is. The lakes are absolutely stunning. It's probably one of the most beautiful, well, it is the most beautiful part of England. But equally, I would say it's probably one of the most beautiful parts anywhere in the world. It rivals any spectacular natural environment of land or areas of outstanding natural beauty, whatever you want to call them. Okay, I'm back from the gym, I'm back from the coffee shop, back at the house, come to get Ella. It's time to go on an adventure, and the sun's disappeared. It was clear blue skies a few minutes ago. The sun's now gone behind a cloud. We're getting a spittering of rain, and I'm going to go to the headland. We're going to go back in time. I'm going to show you some history. It's History 101, and we're going back to 1914, 110 years old, 110 years ago, to discuss a monumental piece of British military history. And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to talk about it as we wander around the ancient headland. But first, I need to get Ella buckled up for the short drive. Watch this. Here's a harness that I attached to her so she can go in the front of the car. Ella, come on then. You ready? Put this on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Cowering away. Come on. Ella, come on. Get your harness on. She will do this all day. I have to just grab hold of her. She's off. She's not having it. Do you want to go in the car? Do you want to go in the car or not? You need to put this on. Come on. A few seconds later. Ready to go. Happy. Come on then. In the car. Ella, up. Come on. Up. Up you go. Go on. Come on. Good girl. Because she knows she's going on an adventure. All I need to do now is clunk her in, and away we go. Ella, sit. Good girl. This is all I need to go on an E-trip. Ella in the front seat, in the shotgun seat, ready to go. As long as we've got some poo bags, that's all I need in my pocket. She's bound to, can you tell I like orange? There's an orange theme going on here. And all I need is this. With the weather being a bit shady today, I've got my thin, showerproof, windproof. I've got a brolly. I actually need a decent brolly. That's a bit naff, that one. I've got my Gorilla Pod, or my tripod thing, whatever you want to call that. My DJI Mic 2, which I will be using out on the out and about today. My neck mount, my new toy. My, which goes around my neck, which gives you a completely different view and keeps my hands free. Lead, dog lead obviously, and headphones so I can play back my footage and make sure I haven't ballsed anything up. But that is it. That is my adventure kit. That is my backpack. I'll shove all that in the pack and away we go to today's destination. You ready, Ella? Yes, let's get it on. Okay, every time I start the engine now, it pops up on the computer on the dashboard. It says 683 miles before you need a service. It may as well just be saying, you're going to have to pay out some money soon, sunshine. you better start thinking about it because it's coming. Ella, now you can't rest your head on the gear stick because I have to keep changing it. So we're ready to go. Ella's actually down here, but she's decided to lay down. As soon as I set off driving, she will sit up. Let's go. Let's get this mothership off the ground. So we're heading to the headland, as I've said, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that in a minute. What I'm going to try and do with these vlog style e-trips, Ella's trip, don't forget, is keep them under half an hour, there or thereabouts. I don't want to go any longer than that. You know, once the videos are taking off, once I'm getting 200, 300,000 views a day, here she is, she's decided to join in. Once I'm up to that level, I can then start maybe thinking about making the videos a bit longer, but for now I'll try and keep them around about the half an hour mark. So I've got a lot to cram in today. I've got a lot to show you. There's a couple of locations that I want to head to. We're going to go to the seafront on the headland, which is where in 1914, on December the 16th, on the morning of December the 16th, the Germans launched an attack against England, against the United Kingdom. These 3 German battleships came across the North Sea and started firing missiles into whatever it is they fired into the coast, into the coast of Hartlepool. It wasn't just Hartlepool particularly. Back in the day, Hartlepool was called Hartlepools. It was 2 separate towns, Hartlepool and West Hartlepool. Both towns took direct hits. I think there was around about 100 casualties, 100 fatalities, 86 civilians, 14 military, I believe, over 400 injuries, stacks of property, buildings destroyed. It was a dark day in the history of this town, and it was also a very poignant and historical date at the start, 3 months into the First World War, because it was the first time the Germans attacked British soil. And there was a public outcry. The public panicked and realised that the Germans could actually reach British shores with their ships, and it changed opinion for the war. Lots of people enlisting for the army went up after this attack, and also, and rather significantly, and one of the things I'm going to show you, which blows my mind, it's absolutely fascinating. There's a plaque, a memorial plaque on the headland where we're going to go today, to signify the exact point where the first soldier, British soldier, was killed during battle on British soil during the First World War. How freaking amazing is that? So I'm going to show you the plaque. I'm going to show you that point, or that particular spot where that happened. Also, if I get a chance, I'm going to swing across to another location in the town, Stratton Grange Cemetery, where not a lot of people realise this, but the soldier's grave is actually there. So this soldier from the Durham Light Infantry, who was killed on Hartlepool Promenade on the headland, he's buried in the town. He's buried at Stratton Grange Cemetery. And we'll go and have a look at the grave. Why not? So they're the 2 main things I want to show you today. But while I'm on the headland, there's also 1 or 2 other things I'm going to show you, which equally blow my mind. I find them utterly, utterly amazing, and I'll show them to you while we're here. So one of the reasons why, I'll just rabbit on for a minute or so as we move down towards the headland. One of the reasons why I go to the coffee shop as much as I do, it's not just purely for the coffee fix that I get to start the day, but it's also, more significantly for me, it's about the interactions that I have with the people in the coffee shop, the people I've met in that coffee shop, friends, people who I've got to know just from talking to. It's fair to say that I've actually made quite a lot of friendship groups from just being in that coffee shop on a morning. Now, there was a chap that I hadn't actually spoken to him. It was an older boy, very resplendent, very smartly dressed. He'd come into the coffee shop in a 3-piece suit. Say older boy, he's definitely in his 80s. Sit on his own, he'd have a sausage bun and a cup of coffee every morning. And until today, I've never ever had a chance to speak to this chap. But I've been meaning to. I've been meaning to make a beeline to find out what his story is, why he comes into the coffee shop as often as he does. So this morning was that opportunity. Eric he's called, by the way. So I had a chat with Eric, and what a fascinating life Eric has led. He's 84-year-old. He was an engineer in his career, 14 years in the Merchant Navy,
He retired at 60 from Civilian Street. He ended up as an mechanical engineer when he came out of the Merchant Navy. Travelled the world 7 times over, down the Suez Canal, around the Caribbean, however you want to pronounce it. This guy has lived a fascinating life, and he must have so many stories to tell about the adventures he's been on, the life he's lived. Unfortunately, his wife died. Now he's on his own. His family have gone. Very, very lonely, very lonely. Comes into the coffee shop purely to do something, to keep active, to keep his brain sharp, to socialise. But he's got all these stories, but nobody to tell them to. This morning I sat and listened intently for half an hour while he told me about his career, told me about his life in the Merchant Navy, the ships that he worked on. The one takeaway I'll take from this morning talking to Eric was, and he said to me that as you get older, the body deteriorates. I mean, he's 84 years old. He said the body does deteriorate, however, he still feels like he's 20-odd-year-old in his mind. How incredible is that? For all that you know, to feel as though your mind's telling you you're still young enough to enjoy life and do things. And it's only the body and the age and the aging process that's slowing you down. Utterly unbelievable. So that's one reason, well, probably the main reason why I like going in the coffee shop. For those little interactions with the patrons of the coffee shop. There's a lot of lonely people who go into that shop, and they've all got stories. They're all lonely. They just want to talk. They just want somebody to sit with them, to share a coffee, to speak, to let them speak for 20 minutes. That, for me, is worth its weight in gold. You know, I would do that every day if I knew that person was getting a lot of value from that and it was making their day. And it's just giving back, isn't it? You're not giving... It's like altruistic. I'm not giving financially, but I'm giving my time to listen to somebody who deserves my time. These people deserve you to sit and listen to what they've got to say because they've got fascinating stories. Fascinating. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Eric, he's called. But I've also got so many other friends in there who I could wax lyrical about and tell you. And I will. I'll save that for another day. So I'm now on the headland. Coronation Drive, to be exact. So way to the left, I've got the North Sea looking pretty choppy and mean. But where we're going now, we're driving to one of the sea defences that was in place during the First World War. This is the Heugh gun battery. And there's a lighthouse here as well. I absolutely love lighthouses. I'm fascinated with lighthouses. But we're going to park up at the lighthouse and then I'll continue regaling you with the story of the bombardment of Hartlepool. And as I say, that first British military casualty on British soil during the First World War. It's a fascinating story. And history is going to come alive on today's E-Trip. So, come on, I've said it again, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Come join me today and maybe learn something that you didn't know. The houses down here are beautiful as well. This is Moor Terrace. It's a lot of Victorian style, huge, sprawling, terraced, semi-detached style houses. Some of the most beautiful houses I've seen anywhere. All down here on the headland. We're going to park up in this little mini car park here on the left. Right next to the lighthouse over there on the right. You can see the lighthouse here. I'm going to swing in to the left and park up right in front of the only World War I battlefield in Great Britain. Artillery and Trench Exhibition. I might go in there one day. I'm not going to do it today, but maybe one day we'll go in and we'll have a look at the Heugh Battery Museum. Are you ready for this, Ella? Let's go. Come on then, let's go and have a little wander around the promenade. So we've left the car. There's the gun battery, the Heugh gun battery over there. You can see how strategic it was, looking out across the North Sea. And if you were to go directly across the North Sea in a straight line, you would come to northern Germany. Hence why the attack happened, the bombardment of the Hartlepools. And if you come down here onto the headland, you've got these 2 information boards that give you all the information you need to know about what happened
on the morning of the 16th of December 1914, when 3 German battle cruisers steamed their way across the sea here to carry out the atrocity that they did. So the 3 boats involved were the SMS Seydlitz, SMS Moltke and SMS Blucher, which I've probably mispronounced, but hey-ho, it gives you this board here. If I zoom back like that, if you pause the video now and you can just zoom in and read any of that you want to read. But yeah, the 3 boats were out there on the 110 years ago, started firing in missiles into the coast here. And there's the boats that came over and did the damage. Seydlitz, Blucher and the Moltke. So interestingly, on the Blucher, the battle cruiser itself, the German one, was hit 6 times by shell fire, possibly coming over from these sea defences here. And the shells actually from the sea defences here killed 9 men and put 2 of the guns out of action. I mean, the boat itself on the 25th of January in 1915, the Blucher was sank after an engagement in the Battle of Dogger Bank. But here, 9 men on board were killed as a consequence of shell fire coming straight from the battery across to where the 3 battleships were out in the harbour there. Luckily, many of the shells that the German ships fired failed to go off, failed to detonate, so the damage and the loss of life could have been far worse had the shells detonated. But fortunately, a lot didn't. A lot did, and the ones that did detonate are the ones that caused all the damage. There's extensive property damage to a lot of buildings. It was very indiscriminate. I mean, the target was supposed to be military-based locations, sea defences, the gun battery, but the shelling was very indiscriminate. And as I said in the car on the way here, over 86 civilians lost their lives in one 40-minute period of horror on the morning of the 16th of December 1914 during the Great War. And we're about to go and have a look at the memorial plaque to the private from the Durham Light Infantry who was the first British soldier to lose his life on British soil during that first few months of the First World War. Check out this cannon. It's a beautiful day here. The sun's broke through now. Look at that. I don't think the clouds are going to go in front of that anytime soon. So this cannon, I don't think it's anything to do with what happened here actually. It was captured from the Russian army at the Battle of Sebastopol during the Crimean War. So you're going by 1850s here, 1854. I don't know how it's ended up here. It's obviously been a gift given to the town of Hartlepool. Yeah, but nothing to do with the Navy bombardment by the German Navy, which I'm talking about today, but still, it looks nice. Yeah, nothing to do with that, but yeah, there you go. Oh, check out the lighthouse. I love lighthouses. We have a memorial plaque to the bombardment of the town. At least 114 civilians. What was I wrong then? 9 soldiers and 7 sailors were killed, with 500 being seriously wounded. So I was a bit wrong with what I said earlier on. I don't know if you can see in this light, like etchings taken from the painting. Can you see that? It's like a fisherman sort of taking away, looks like he's rescuing a child or bringing a child away from a burning building maybe. Same there. It's like a mother carrying a baby. You know, all the years I've lived here and I didn't know this was here, this memorial plaque. We have the lighthouse and a little building in front of the lighthouse which looks like it's no longer there. I don't know if you can see this, it's really bad lighting, but yeah, there you go, there's the lighthouse here. Again, there's people here, looks like there's like some kind of emergency stretcher taking away some of the injured. This is a real historical, fascinating part of the North East coast, the heritage that we have here in the North East. This is my hometown, I live here, but I very rarely come here. Very, very rarely come here. Even though I should, I couldn't tell you all the specifics of what happened during the bombardment, but most people from Hartlepool know it happened. They know that it happened during the First World War. And most people should know that the first soldier on British soil was killed right here. And I'm about to go and show you the exact spot where that happened. Mind is about to be blown, excuse the pun,
Here we go. We've got this slip road going down onto the promenade there. But just to the left, you have this memorial plaque, this tablet in the wall here that marks the exact point where the first shell from the leading German battlecruiser struck at 8:10. Apologise for the noise of the guy cutting the grass up with the battery, but I've got my DJI mic in, so hopefully you can hear. This is also the place where, which is what we're talking about, during the bombardment the first soldier was killed on British soil by enemy action. And that soldier was Private Theophilus Jones of the Durham Light Infantry, who was also buried at Stratton Grange Cemetery, which, if my battery holds out, I'm going to take you to look at. If anything, I think the death of Private Jones, it was significant. It just goes to show that the reach that the Germans were able to encroach onto the British and put everybody at panic. Everybody started to realise that actually, you know, we are all fallible here. We're all at risk. Now, foolishly, I'm running out of battery. I didn't charge my iPhone. I'm at about 29%. So I hope I've got enough battery left to show you the other things I want to show you while I'm here. And then we're going to hop over to the cemetery. And hopefully I'm going to be able to locate Private Theophilus Jones's grave at Stratton Grange Cemetery. Isn't it fascinating? Don't you think how history comes alive like this? Utterly amazing. Check out these houses. How beautiful. There's like 5 floors. There's a basement, the ground floor, the first floor, the second floor, and there's probably a loft as well. 5 floors in these huge Victorian style houses here on the headland. You know, hop back in the car because there's 1 or 2 other locations I want to show you while we're here before we head over to Stratton Grange Cemetery. Ella's cleaning herself, but she's getting back out the car soon. Wasn't that fascinating? I absolutely love it, and it's a fitting number 1 on my list of the top 50 interesting, fascinating, quirky things to see here in the northeast of the UK. Now, on a previous trip here, just accidentally I found what is probably the quirkiest, strangest but cutest special garden, yard, side garden, whatever you want to call it, that I think I've ever seen. And I actually just stumbled across it accidentally. I'm going to show you. Come and check this out. Just check this out. There's a Ninja Turtle, lots of gnomes, Batman, a dinosaur, Yorkshire Terrier. How eccentric and quirky. There's a fat Buddha, Spider-Man hanging off the plant frame there. How cute is this? Elephant. There's no place like home. Teletubbies. Shark, crab. There's a T-Rex over in the back. A couple of T-Rexes. One there, one there. You could stand and just look at this. I could stand and look at this for minutes. I won't say hours, but minutes. Dog in a basket. Isn't this just utterly amazingly fascinating? So as I stroll through these really nice, pretty ornamental gardens here, it's going to take me down to the 2 pieces of art that I want to show you. I must come back and show you this particular garden because there's a history trail on the floor right beneath my very feet. Now, on a previous visit here to the headland, which I've said, I've reiterated, I haven't been here all that often as of late. But on a previous visit, I discovered these amazing things, which I'm about to show you 2 of them. Now, if you like your art, more specifically paintings, and even more specifically again, paintings on the side of buildings, you're going to be blown away and you're going to absolutely freaking love what I'm about to show you. It just blows my mind. The word of the day, blows my mind. No puns intended because of the subject matter today. Probably see coming into view over in the distance there, the first of these paintings I'm going to talk to you about.
This one on the side of a public house called The Ship. There's a giant mural of one of the lifeboats that's stationed here at the headland going out into the sea. Come and let's have a look at this. This is an incredible piece of art. You ready for this? Let's get ourselves positioned near the wall. It's the actual beer garden of the public house here. And we'll pan it up to reveal in all of its glory. How beautiful, how insanely beautiful is that mural of a lifeboat going out to sea. It's done by a company called Durham Spray Paints, and they leave the mark. You can see on the door over there, they've mentioned their, I don't know whether it's Twitter or Instagram, at Durham Spray Paints. So I'm not sure if this was one person who did this or a team of people, but either way, it's pretty special. But that is not my favourite. The piece de resistance before we leave the headland today and head off to the cemetery is the mural that I'm about to show you. Just round the corner on the side of another public house, the Fisherman's Arms. You have to see this thing. Notice here on the actual side of the mural itself, there's this little sign that says Buster, a local companion to Alfie. And if you're wondering what that's about, pan down and there you see Buster, who was a local companion to Alfie, apparently. That's pretty. That is cute. The one thing about this part of the town, this headland part, that's very historic, there's a lot of these old buildings that are just, I have no idea what they are. Very, very old, architecturally stunning buildings. That says, for all inquiries, and please contact that number. Does that mean you can buy this? You can lease it? Or is there a club? Victoria building it's called. Who knows? Outdoor seating, anybody? Again, you've got another building over here on the left that's architecturally very, very pretty. A lot of pigeons taking home at the top there. I don't know if it's derelict or not. You see seagulls, not pigeons. Seagulls nesting all around there at the mid-level. And then also above the windows and at the very top. It's a very grand seagull home. Back in the day, not 100% sure what building it was, but they're all around. History is everywhere. And like I've said, sometimes it pays to look up. You get a bit of nature there. Just look at all these birds nesting. The real thing I'm going to show you is on the side of this public house, the Fisherman's Arms. So we've come down this street here on the headland, and then we reach the Fisherman's Arms. A pretty, I'll be honest, a pretty nondescript looking pub from the front. Nothing that fantastic about it, just an average looking pub, until you walk past, head this way down to the Fish Quay. We don't have to go too far past, maybe a couple of metres. And then we stop, we turn back, we look towards the Fisherman's Arms, and we pan up to the most amazing mural I think I've ever seen in my life. The Fisherman's Wife. I'm probably going to have to take a few steps back so you can see this in all of its glory. Now, you thought the lifeboat was impressive, and it was, done by the same company, Durham Spray Paints. And then you see this. Holy cow. The Fisherman's Wife. This mural on the side of the Fisherman's Arms public house here in the historic headland in Hartlepool. That just is incredible. And this is why it's on my list of the top 50 places, things to see, quirky things to see, fascinating things to see, to take in here in the northeast of the UK. There's things and places to see everywhere. You just need to open your eyes and look. And on that note, let's head off to the cemetery and see if we can find the grave of Private Theo Jones, completing today's story of the first British soldier killed on British soil in the First World War. History, guys, it's all around. The only problem living here, as I could see it, looking around at a lot of the vehicles, is the seagull poop. It's pretty much everywhere.
constantly cleaning your car. To finish today's E-trip, Ellis trip, it's been a bit more of a poignant, nostalgic trip today, where I've been speaking about the first British soldier to be killed on British soil during the First World War. I showed you where that was, over at the Hough gun battery on the headland. We've now come to Stranton Grange Cemetery, which, as you can see, is a vast cemetery. This is the main cemetery for the entire town here. There's a crematorium as well. I've been here lots of times, believe me. So I had a bit of a monumental task on my hands to try and find this grave. But I found a picture on the internet, on the interwebs, as we do. And using the photo of the grave, I was able to match up roughly where in the cemetery I thought Theophilus Jones's grave was. It took me about 5 minutes to locate it by wandering around, me and Ella, but I've managed to accomplish that. So to finish off today's vlog, I've travelled several miles across the town to come to the cemetery here from the headland to show you the grave, the final resting place of Theo Jones, the first British soldier killed on British soil during the First World War, and it was here in Hartlepool at the headland. Now I'm going to have to be quite respectful here to try and squeeze through to where the grave is. In fact, what I might do is come back on the back side of it, because I don't want to be stepping over sacred, consecrated ground. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. If you can just glance through the gap there between this stone and this stone, look to this one here, that's what we're looking for. That's the grave of Private Theo Jones. And there it is. How many people have been through this cemetery, or would come through to this cemetery and not realise that you've got the grave of such a historical part of British military history here? He was killed whilst on guard at the Lighthouse Battery, Hartlepool, during the bombardment by German cruisers, December the 18th, 1914. His funeral service was about a week later, when around about 500 congregators crammed themselves into the church and outside to honour this guy's life. And then he was laid to rest the following day. He was a former headmaster of Thringstone Church School in Leicester. Now I want to tell you an interesting story about that. In his breast pocket on the day he was tragically killed, he carried a Bible. Now this Bible was of a sufficient enough thickness that it could have potentially saved his life had it not been for the other wounds he suffered, because a fragment of iron from one of the shells actually lodged itself into the Bible, only by about ½ an inch. So that the khaki fabric on the outside of the Bible and the thickness of the Bible itself would have ironically saved his life, because he was carrying the Bible in his breast pocket. But unfortunately it was to no avail. It was the other injuries that he succumbed to. And on that note, I want to say thanks for joining me today on the first of what I hope to be an ongoing series of e-trips and adventures, micro-adventures, as I delve out there, as I discover some of the hidden quirks and charms that's waiting to be discovered here in the Northeast, as I'll work through my top 50 must-see, quirky, mysterious and downright fascinating places, things to see and do in the Northeast of the UK and further afield. Just going to tell you a little interesting story just before I finish here. So Theo Jones was a really active sports person. He was an elementary school teacher here in Hartlepool, and in 1905, being a big sportsman into his football, cricket and rugby, the school closed to give all staff and pupils an opportunity to watch a rugby match that took place in the town. The two towns' rugby teams, Hartlepool Rovers and West Hartlepool, combined to play a match, an exhibition match against none other than the New Zealand All Blacks. The score ended up being New Zealand 66, West Rovers 0, obviously. But isn't that amazing? I only discovered that from delving into the history of Theo Jones, learning about what a fascinating life he led, and what a legacy he's left in British history through his actions, through his career, and ultimately through his sad demise. That sad December day in 1914 when Hartlepool came under attack from those 3 German battle cruisers. Life's just fascinating. It's just all out there waiting to be discovered. From the minute you start delving into something, it's incredible what you do realise. We'll never forget them. Maximum respect to people like Theo Jones. He wasn't the only person who died that day. He's often mentioned because he was the first, but 3 of his comrades also died with him. So another 3 infantrymen died shortly after he was fatally wounded, killed in the chest by a piece of shrapnel, as I previously mentioned. Fascinating. So thanks for joining me today as I show you a quirky, mysterious place, another adventure here on planet Earth. If you've enjoyed, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and join in the journey, because it's been a whole lot of fun and there's so much more fun to come. Until next time, keep wandering and keep wondering.
In a field of poppies lies a hero's grave, a soldier lost but never forgotten, so brave. His memory lives on in the echoes of war's wail, forever etched in history's endless tale. Gone too soon, a life cut short. Rest in peace, dear soldier. Your sacrifice will never fade. In the hearts of those you fought for, you'll always be portrayed. In the silence of the night, your spirit rose, a ghostly figure in the shadows alone. His comrades gone, his battle's done, but his legacy lives on under the setting sun. A hero's story, a hero's plight. Rest in peace, dear soldier. Your sacrifice will never fade. In the hearts of those you fought for, you'll always be portrayed. Your sacrifice will never fade. In the hearts of